Hi, welcome to Living as Latinas. I'm Jaquira and I have my co host Audi here with me. This is our first podcast episode, and we are two Latinas who will discuss everyday topics through the lens of two licensed mental health counselors. This week, on our first podcast, we are going to be discussing COVID-19, sending kids to school, and the many different challenges and struggles families across America had to go through to make these tough decisions. So sit back, enjoy, and listen. All right. So for you, Audi, what were some of the questions or worries that you had when deciding to send your kids to school? ¿Qué tú pensaste?
Well, I thought about a lot of things. I thought about what if they get sick and
Mhm.
then they come home and then everybody gets sick. I thought about, well, they're probably not going to get sick. People are probably going to be, extra careful. And then the next thought was, what are people going to think about me? That I'm a bad mother because I'm sending them?
Yeah,
So I
right.
had like a series of different questions that were related, but at the same time, they weren't even related to each other. But the main thing was that, like, inside of my heart, the decision was yes, he should go. But then the other doubt, I guess, I don't know,
hmm So, like
like
the
a
worries.
necessary thing that comes to my head.
hmm Yeah, and I feel like for me it was the same thing. Like I struggled so much with sending my daughter to school because I was like, I have my mom and I don't want to get her sick. And, she helps me out a lot and she's always in my house. Like, in the beginning of the whole COVID thing, like, I didn't see my mom probably for like the first 2 or 3 months. And it was really hard for me. Like, I felt like I was dying, like not being able to see her. And I
Because
was like,
you to see each other like every day. So that's a
yeah,
huge difference.
yeah. And so for me, it was like, I don't want to go through that again. I don't want to put myself through that again. And then I was like, so
Hmm.
what can I do? What's gonna work for my family so that, I still get to see my mom, but my daughter still gets to get the learning that she needs. So I tried. So I was like, let's just play it by ear. So let's do the first week at home and see how it works. And if it doesn't work, then we'll try to change it. The first week, I'm telling you, like I remember
Craziness.
her face, like, when she got into the Zoom, she's just like, "This is cool, like, what am I doing
What was
here?"
that, Jakira? Like,
It was crazy. It was only for, like, they were late, first of all. Even for her first day of school, they were late, like, 20 minutes late. So they were at the school, the internet was unstable, she couldn't hear them, or they were freezing, and she's just looking at me like, "Is this real? Like, this is cool?" And I know she was really excited about it, and I didn't want her to, like, for that experience to take away from her excitement. So I was like, "You know what? Like, I'm going to have to talk to my mom. I'm gonna have to talk to her dad and figure out, like, if this isn't working, let's come up with a backup plan." And then I sent her to school, and I was like, "You know what? We're just gonna have to do this because I don't want to ruin her experience." And I think that the school is doing a great job at, you know, minimizing the exposure and all that stuff. And so we're just gonna have to try this and see if it works. And if it doesn't work, then we'll figure out something else. But
something else.
yeah.
But you make a good point. That was something that was I was really thinking a lot about this. Like, I don't obviously, we're his parents, and we know we think we know the best decision for him, right? Whether he should go or not go. But at the same time, I had this little worry. I didn't want to make the wrong decision for him, I guess. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't want to ruin the whole experience.
Mhm,
Like,
mhm,
I don't know. It's just confusing. Like, I understand that it might not even be a big deal to them. Maybe they when they're teenagers, they're not even gonna remember that. I don't know. I don't know. But I feel like some extra responsibility because I want to make the right decision for him. Like I
Mhm.
want him to think about it when he's older and think about like, oh yeah, that was the right decision. And that's just craziness on my end.
It's a lot of pressure.
But
It's a lot of
that's
pressure. Yeah.
that it is. It is. That's where my mind goes. Like
Uh-huh.
I start really good. Like, yep, this is what we're gonna do. We have a plan, and this is the best thing to do. And then I go to bed and I start thinking about, oh, but what if this happens? What if he doesn't want this? And it's just craziness. And I don't even
Mhm.
know if that's is that normal?
It's called mom guilt.
Exactly. That's what it is. That's what it is. Is that gonna go away, Jakira, with time? Because I feel like it hasn't gone away for me.
No, no.
I feel like I always find something to linger on. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think that's just for the long term.
Forever, ever. Ah,
Definitely think so.
we're always gonna find something new to worry about, I guess.
Mhm. Mm, yeah. I mean,
But
it's it.
how are you feeling now, though? You went through the first week online. That was craziness. You didn't like it. You're gonna you were gonna die of stress and exhaustion and all of that. But what about now? Are you more comfortable with that she's going in person to school?
Yeah, I think I think as the weeks go by and I see her little face and I see how excited she is and like, like so much that she's already picking up so quickly in the first few weeks. I was like, you know what? Just that it makes it all worth it. Like, it sits really good with my stomach. It makes me feel good inside. It makes me feel warm. And I know when I have those feelings, then it was a good decision. So,
Yes,
mhm,
yes, definitely. And it's good for them. It's really good for them to be outside of the house with friends and teachers and like making their own decisions without us next to them and all of that. But let's talk about how good it is for us. Like I couldn't imagine me working and then having to help him in the computer every day for that many hours.
mhm. I mean,
That would be
it's
crazy
definitely
making.
really hard. Like, I remember the first week, so, like, I had adjusted my schedule at work for the Zooms to be so the Zooms were really early in the morning, and I was like, "Okay, so then I can, work after that, so I can have that one-on-one time with her to help her with the school." And then I have 2 other girls at the house that are doing remote learning as well. So, like, having to split myself into 3 people while working was really, really hard. And I was just like, I can't. I even took the week off. I was like, you know what? I need to kind of fix myself, fix my situation, figure everything out before I go back to work because if not, I'm going to go crazy. So, you know,
Yeah.
and I was able to kind of find something that fits for us and works for us. And everybody has like their own like designated area. Nobody is going to be next to each other. We do check ins. I know their schedules of when they have snacks and lunch, and I have things already ready for them. So it's really good. And then with the little one, her being in school and being able to just drop her off in the morning and pick her up at like in the afternoon, it's amazing. It's one less worry.
Oh yes. Yes, definitely. I often think about that. Like how are people dealing with it? I mean, we are all going through a lot of different stresses, but this one is one of the biggest, right?
Yeah.
You want them to learn, you want them to have a good experience, you want them to do what they have to do, but you also have to work. You also need money to live, right? You need to pay the rent, you need to pay the mortgage, you need to buy food. This is a lot to put in one plate.
Mhm. And I
It's a
think
lot to manage.
it is. And the thing that I feel like for me has helped is just being able to schedule it. Like have a plan in place. Not try to, like, the day before, I have clothes ready. I think
Mhm.
about snacks for the next day or breakfast, and I have that all in my head. I don't even have to write it down, but like everything's ready so that I know things are gonna go smoother. Um,
Right.
because having to do that in the moment, like, oh, what clothes are you gonna wear today? Even eliminating those 15, 20 minutes where you're ironing, getting clothes, figuring things out, it just makes the process go by so much easier and less
It does.
stressful.
It
Yeah.
does. Because it's something that you don't have to think about anymore. You're done.
Yeah.
That's it. And then you go to bed, you don't have to think about it anymore. When you wake up, that's it. It's done. You don't have to think about it anymore. I think that that is something that has really been helpful for me to think ahead of time, but not too much.
Mhm.
Because I can be a little bit what would be the right word? I don't want to call me crazy, but uh um what would be the right word?
I'll let you think of one. I won't help you with this one.
Crazy. Let's stick with that one for now. Uh, so yeah, so planning, um, but not too much. Not to the point where I'm controlling things, right? Like I like to do. So for me, it's being like finding a balance.
Mhm,
Like we have a plan, we have we know exactly what we're gonna do, what time, but I don't have to control every second of the day.
mhm,
Let's just flow, right? And I think that that is something that COVID has brought to my life. I'm flowing, and this is crazy, Jakira. This is crazy, but I am flowing. Like I'm like, yeah, whatever happens, we'll find a way to figure it out. And but let's not worry about it. Let's worry about right now. And I never lived in the now. I've always lived in the future. So this is good for me, but it's also like a new way of living, and it's
mhm,
crazy
mhm.
that I
And
can
it
actually
works.
do it.
Yeah. And I think I was always the opposite. So I know I've told you stories like when we plan vacations, it's just like let's get up, let's throw stuff in a bag, let's go do something. Like that's always been my life. Like even with kids, it's just like okay, let's go for a drive, bring clothes. We may stay somewhere. Like I
Hmm.
don't want to plan it. Um, but definitely like the planning has been able to help. Having something in plan, like something in place. Um, that I've
The
I've
general
learned to do.
idea of what it is that you
Yes.
want to do,
Yeah,
and then flow with the rest.
definitely. Yeah. What do you think, like, with everything, what advice or maybe like what's something that you would tell other people with this process that's been helpful for you?
For me, because I've been a control freak, it's been helpful to stop controlling and just flowing, right? Like I was saying, um, for people like you who are more flowing and less controlling, having more of a plan, right? But just in general, just knowing that we don't have control over anything, and that's not like a new thing. That's just that now we had to come to terms with the fact that you don't control anything because you're seeing it in a huge scale, right? But just being okay with the fact that you can only go to here, and then after that, you just gotta go with whatever happens, right?
Hmm. And I think for me, like something that I've learned and I've been telling people, having I was having this discussion with my husband recently, and he said something really that was like, really? Like that makes so much sense, like when they have that aha moment. And we were talking about like, like politics, and we were talking about COVID and just like how things are so much out of our control, and how like I tend to worry because I'm always listening to these things and always like, oh, but listen to this new thing that they said. Oh, look at this is what's going on now. And it's like that stuff shouldn't affect me the way that it does. Like there's those are the things that you can't control. The only thing you can control is who you are as a person, right? So how you feel about things and you know, how you live your life, you know,
Exactly.
and the
How are
rest
you
of the
gonna treat the next person next to you?
Mhm,
I've always had this huge idea on how I wanted to change the world. And when I was a teenager, that sounded like, this crazy teenager, whatever. When I was an adult, I still had that idea. And it was more about, okay, I need to find a way on how to do that. But I wanted to do it in a big scale. Like I wanted to change the world. And then I realized I do change the world one person at a time. I don't have to go out and like have this huge speech in front of millions of people. I don't have to do that. All I have to do is be a good person to people around me and teach my kids how to do that and give love and unity and all of those great things, right? And then little by little you can see how the world changes. If everybody does that, then the world is going to change, right? But I think we have this idea on how we need to do it, but we need to do it big. But we
mhm,
don't.
mhm, mhm.
It doesn't have to be that big.
Yeah, just by definitely like if you treat somebody around you who everybody else is treating bad and you show them kindness and you show them love, then other people are going to see that and react in the same way, because sometimes
Exactly. It's
people do
contagious.
things. Yeah, some people do things because they follow. So if one person did
Exactly.
it, they're going to be like, oh, well, I'm going to do it too, you know?
Exactly. It's crazy how that works. It's like when you see somebody laughing like a crazy person, you don't even know what they're laughing about, but you look at them and you're like, why are you laughing like that? But you start laughing too
Mhm,
because it's
mhm,
contagious.
mhm,
And I think that it goes both ways. The negativity is also contagious. But so if you focus on that, then that's what you're gonna give to people. But
mhm,
let's just not do that. Let's do the other thing. Let's just take the good within whatever is happening and find ways to go with it.
mhm,
I understand that there's a lot of things that are going on that are bad, and there's a lot of people who are going through the worst like part of their lives. I get it, but we're still here, and we
mhm.
gotta fight, right? If you're
Definitely.
breathing, then you gotta fight. You don't have a choice.
Yeah. And all these things can be so overwhelming. Like, like I always try to incorporate something for myself, something that I can do, something that I can, that makes me feel good, uh, that kind of re-energizes me, recharges my battery. Because, especially as a mom who works and a mom who's taking care of kids, or if you're just a wife or a girlfriend or you're by yourself, like we give so much of our energy with servicing others, helping others, doing things, work, whatever it may be, that we lose all of our battery. We lose that energy. So we need to figure out, like what do I need to do today? Like what can I do in this moment? Or like I'm starting to feel anxious or I'm getting a headache because I'm stressing myself. Let me stop, let me slow things down and then do something for myself, you know.
Right. And I think that that's the key is to take care of yourself. That is actually something else that I've been really good at lately since the whole craziness started going on. I really have stopped and really just think about why am I feeling what I'm feeling right now? Like where is it coming from?
Mhm,
And is it going to serve me? If it's not, then how do I make it go away? Right? How do I work with it so it just goes away? And I don't think I ever had the opportunity to do that, like seriously do that. I thought I did, but that was a lie. This is really the first time in my life where I have been really aware of. I've always been aware of my feelings and my thoughts, but I never really worked with them. It was more about, yeah, I know what that is. I know what that is. But they there. Now it's more like, I see you. Sorry, not right now. No, just go away. And I need to put myself in this other wavelength. You know what I mean?
Mhm,
And I
mhm,
think that when everything stops and you feel overwhelmed, that's the choice you have. Either you're gonna go with all of those crazy thoughts that are coming from everywhere, and they're not. They might not even be yours, right? Because they might be because of the thing you're watching on TV, because of
mhm.
the things that people are talking about around you. So those thoughts might not even be yours.
Yeah.
There's somebody else's, and they're being, implanted in your head. So if you have the time to stop and think about, like, what is happening right now? Like, why am I having these thoughts? Are they even mine? And then you have the ability to make peace with them and be like, I'm sorry, no, I don't have time, not right now. I gotta go and do this other thing that is gonna serve me, right?
Yeah.
And it's gonna make me feel better. And something else that I've been noticing is that I am not. Uh, how do I say this in a nice way? I am not interested in going along with negativity in any way. Like people talking about negative stuff. I'm more like, "Mm, no, thank you," and I go away. It's not because negativity is not like things are negative. A lot of negative things are happening, but is that really what we're gonna talk about ever?
Forever.
Right?
The cheese man. Yeah, no, I don't
Is
want
that
to.
the only thing that is going on right now? Because I see a lot of other things that are going on. We can talk about it, we can work on it, but let's just not linger in the same thing over and over and over. You know what
Mhm,
I mean?
mhm.
Because it's just it gets to be too much for your brain.
Yeah, definitely. Like all that negative energy definitely affects people. So like I was reading this article about like how much our thoughts and our emotions affect our health. And so like it was saying like even a person who has a lot of anxious thoughts, it affects their bladder. Like if you know those people that like every 5 minutes has to pee, and you know those really anxious people, and it's because of that, because like they tense up their body so much that they're always like, and then when they let it go, they're like, oh, I gotta
I
go pee, I
didn't
gotta go
know
pee, I
that.
gotta go pee. Yeah. And
That's
I was like,
crazy.
that makes total sense. Like if you think about it, like that that makes sense. Like, like all these things affect us in so many different ways. um the way we eat, the way we sleep, the way we interact with other people, our relationship.
Exactly.
um, and it's something that's really important for us to be mindful and kind of see all those things, you know, how it plays out.
So, in talking about how we don't have control over everything, right? So, you're talking about the thing that we actually have control of.
Mhm.
And so, if we pay attention to those little things that we do have control over, and we try to make it them better, and we try to learn, and just by reading an article like you did, you learn something that you didn't know before. And then you're more mindful about how you go to pee, right? Because now you're like, am I like rushing to the bathroom because I'm anxious? Is that what's
Yeah.
happening right now? And it's funny, and it sounds funny, but that's what it is, right?
No, oh my
So
god, I gotta go.
so if we can't control the virus, right? We can't control what the virus is gonna do and how it's gonna manifest. How about we control how we react to it? Because that is the only thing that we have control over, how we are going to react to it. We can't control it, but we can control ourselves in our
Yeah,
lives. And I know that that is way easier to say it than
and
to
do
find a
it.
way to do it. It
Yeah,
is. I know it. But we gotta work on it. How are we gonna do that? Let's work on that instead of just focusing on We all gonna die. We're all not gonna die.
And
It
a
might
good way of
seem
seeing
like
that.
it, but we're
Yeah,
fine.
and a good way of seeing that process is like in the beginning, like our process with our kids, like sending them to school, our thought process, like, is this going to kill them? Is this going to kill our family? Is this going to
Hmm.
be doomful? Like for us, it's like, okay, we went through that whole process and we're like, there's only certain things that we can control. This needs to be done. Let's do this safe, and I think we just kind of have
Exactly.
to do that with other decisions that we have to make.
And I think the key, um, to do all of that in a way that we're not killing ourselves is information. You you're not sure about something, find an article, find different sources of information, read them, and then you'll find what works for you, what makes sense for you, and stop listening to people around you.
Yeah.
Everybody, every family has their own thing going on, and they're all gonna do it different ways. And it doesn't mean that somebody's doing it the best way and somebody doesn't know what they're doing. They're just doing the best they can. And I think that that's the thing that we gotta make sure that we tell people around us. Like when they're not feeling sure about, oh my God, am I doing the right thing? You're doing the best thing you can do.
Yeah.
And that's exactly
What you
okay.
should be. Yeah. That's what you
And
should
that's
do.
exactly what you told me when I was freaking out about, oh my God, is he gonna hate me when he's a teenager? And that's exactly what you told me. You are doing the best thing you can do for your family. And
Yeah.
that made me feel so calm after, like, I read it and I was like, yeah, I am. What the hell? Why am I making myself crazy about nothing? The
Mhm.
decision is already made and I have a choice to change that decision.
Yeah.
So it's okay. It's okay. Let's just flow with it.
Mhm.
But you see the power of words. If you had
Mhm.
said something differently, it would make me feel differently. And it's
Mhm.
not that it's your responsibility to make me feel any way, but when you give love and understanding and compassion to other people, it changes everything. It's like magic.
You can
And
see
it's crazy because
things.
I tell people this and some people look at me like, oh my God, like what happened to her? Like is she smoking? And to me, it's like, but can you not see it? Please tell me you can't see it because it's everywhere. I see
Yeah.
it everywhere. And I promise I'm not smoking. It's just
And that
makes sense to me.
and that's the thing when you start seeing things through a different lens, through a different viewpoint, when you start changing your frame of thought into things can be worked out, things can be positive,
Hmm.
you start seeing things como el color de rosa, like you
Yeah.
everything changes. Yeah.
And and I understand it sounds crazy, but it can be that way. It depends on what you're gonna do with it. Are you gonna see the situation as an opportunity for growth and learning? I have learned many things in this, like, what, 8 months
Yeah.
since the whole craziness started. And at the beginning, I was just watching movies, drinking wine. And then I'm like, "Ah, really? I don't even drink. And now I'm drinking wine every night. This is not like something Audi would do, right? So let's see, what would Audi do? And then I started meditating and I'm like, ooh, it's like, the clouds opened and the light, and I saw the light. And it sounds crazy. But to me, it was like, yes, exactly. This is exactly what I need at this moment. Because if I don't find something to do in that way, I'm gonna go crazy. And am I gonna be able to help my kids, my husband, my family? No. So I gotta be healthy to be able to
Do
help
what you
other
have to do.
people.
Yeah, definitely. And that's so powerful, being able to recognize those things and changing for the better, you know?
Yes. Yes.
All right. So, what do you think? Any last words, comments, maybe for today? I know that we have some other topics. So, like, some other things that we're going to be talking about are like relationships in 2020 and
It's gonna be a
beyond.
fun one, especially
Right?
coming from you and I.
Our perspectives, definitely.
Yeah.
What were the other
We're
ones?
gonna talk about money.
Yeah.
We'll
Yeah.
talk about balancing motherhood, careers. We have
Everything.
a lot of fun, important topics
Yes.
to talk
So
about.
can't wait. I can't wait.
It's gonna be so much fun.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
And
See you next week.
sounds good.